Graphics cards are big, heavy, and most importantly, expensive. And that's what's keeping a lot of people from really jumping into the PC gaming world. Well, I went out and searched for maybe something that might be of value and still useful, but not break the bank. And I found this. This is taped up very tightly. Today's video is brought to you by the new, really super cool JSUSense Melty connector shirt, paying tribute to one of the best designs that's clearly ever existed. And if you don't like the Vaporwave colors, we've got our OG gray and red colors available now. So get yours by following the link in the description below.
Nice.
Ow, I have a thigh cramp. So this is actually a GPU I bought off of eBay for $75. It is a 980 Ti. I don't think it's a very terrible deal considering the fact that this goes all the way back to like 2014, 15, I think, somewhere around 15. Yeah, 2015, I think. So it is nearly 10 years old. Doesn't look terrible though, not a lot of dust buildup and stuff in there. This version, as you can see, is a PNY. But more importantly, I got 4 of these cards. 2 EVGAs, a PNY, and some other stuff, remember? For under $400, because I wanted to play around with some old school 4-way SLI stuff with old titles and stuff, just to make myself happy when we had the most heyday hardware enthusiast days of being able to just do stupid crap like that. But I wondered, like, how well will this 980 Ti do today? So I'm gonna check for a few things. One, I'm gonna put it on my test bench. I'm gonna take that 4080 Super out of there. I'm gonna throw this very anemic looking GPU versus today's GPUs on there. And I'm gonna check for things like, obviously, is the fan working? I don't know where that came from. Okay, could have been ball hair for all I know. Anyway, I wanna see how well it does today, but does the fan work? Does it boost like it's supposed to? More importantly, does it overheat? Because we're talking, a lot of dust is now flying around the room, but we are now talking about a nearly 10-year-old graphics card, and I'm curious, for 75 bucks, was it worth the money? So let me get on the test bench real quick and see. So this actually looks pretty stupid in there. I remember when that was considered a big GPU. I don't even have the screw to hold it down. Whatever, that's fine. So a 6-pin and an 8-pin. I haven't used these guys in a while. Oh crap, I just realized these are only 8-pin. Okay, we'll be right back. The lighting is on, but it's really dim versus what I remember it being. That's really dim GeForce lighting right there. Okay, sure, whatever. Latest driver that's installed should be good enough. It actually does have 900 series GPUs still included in there, but it's gonna take a second for it to initialize. So that's actually pretty fast. Give me back my mouse. It initialized the driver and now I have not off to a great start. There we go. I think it was just something weird with the driver initialization. 980 Ti 560.7 is our current driver. Cool. So let's go ahead and load up some MSI Afterburner. I can't remember what the clocks and stuff are. It's gonna be pretty pathetic, right? Yeah, it's under a gigahertz right there. Gigahertz. I'm also gonna open hardware monitor, or excuse me, hardware info, because I'm curious about temps and stuff like hotspot temps and whatnot. So what is visible to us here? We've got hotspot currently at 60.5, GPU temperature at 47.6. That seems warm, but that's actually pretty normal for these blower style coolers like this. They are not the biggest surface area. The heatsink is only that big, and it's only that thick, which many would say is actually pretty average. But of course, we could also max out the fan if we wanted, just be like, there's that sound we all know and love. Anywho, let's go ahead and just put that back to default because I want to see what our temps and stuff are going to go to, leaving everything at stock. This card does give us a 10% additional power limit, which is kind of nice. For the record, this core voltage back in this era is an actual millivolt. So it is adding millivolts to it. So we can do up to 0.87 millivolts. Or no, why give me the slider if I can't use it? Okay, so here we go. Let's just start with heaven real quick. Yeah, it's a slideshow, it's 17 FPS. But I'm looking at my temps, that's what I'm most interested in. So 71, look how fast the core temp comes up. You can probably see how bad the frame rate is even on this video because it's literally half the frame rate of this video. This card was always intended to hit like 85 though, to be honest. This is why if you SLI'd them, they sat next to each other. So the top card was completely choked off. And the way it works with SLI is they will run at the slowest card's speeds. So for instance, if your bottom card, like the one that would be like right here, is getting all the fresh air, it is choking off the fresh air of supply to the top card. So it would have to slow down to meet the top card's thermal throttle, which really negated a lot of the whole benefits of SLI. So that's why the motherboard manufacturer started spacing out the SLI slots, or at least the full 16X slots, to get at least a full slot in between them. That way you could have as much airflow as possible. But the top card always ran warmer than the bottom card because it was picking up warmth, just radiating heat from the bottom card, no matter what kind of card you ran in there. So that's why cases that have a lot of fans that blow directly at the GPUs exist because of the old SLI configurations. Now they just help because they're big and freaking powerful. And our GPU temps at 83.4 degrees. I wouldn't even initially say that this is a paste issue because they really did just run that hot out of the box. If I were to open up Afterburner right now and kick up that fan, GPU is already down to 78, 77. You see our hotspots coming down with it. The GPU thermal limit, as you can see, is 83C. So we were hitting the thermal limit, which by design was always the way it was meant to work back then. It was meant to go to the limit, and the fan was set to not be noisy. So because of that, we were always hitting the thermal limit. But if we look at our frequency right now, we're at 1215. If I had it logging, we would have seen that probably drop to like 11. I can't remember what it was. Maybe Phil can put it on the screen right here so you can see what it was. But when that was at 83, that was probably down closer to 1 gigahertz, maybe 1100. Probably lost at least 100 megahertz doing that. Okay, let's add 100 megahertz to this and see what happens. Is it gonna insta crash? Nope, but we did get 100 megahertz. Wow, I put 100 and I got 100. That's rare. Okay, 200 will for sure crash. It's gonna have to crash. What the frick? There's 1415 right there. And our GPU power jumped up to 227. Temperatures are still 10C under the stock power limit or temperature limit. Now we are nearly 20C under the noon limit of 91. 250. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So 200 might be where I can get away from. You know what? Let's start with the worst possible scenario, Cyberpunk. So when it comes to the tier of this card, it's pretty much like one step below the Titan Maxwell, which is the black PCB on there. There was also a Titan Black, which existed before that. It was kind of a card that existed between the Maxwell Titan and after the original Titan, which was in the same exact category as Kepler. Was it Kepler 700 series? I can't remember if Kepler was, yeah, Kepler was 780 Ti. So 780 Ti was the original Titan series, and then 980 Ti is Maxwell. So this goes, and I just recently, not that long ago, actually sold our original Maxwell cards back when we had the yard sale. Okay, here's 1440p full screen, which might be a little ambitious for Cyberpunk. Let's just go ahead and see what we get initially. This FPS is very hard to see up in the corner, but it is reporting right there. I'm not even gonna run the benchmark because I wanna see what the game is like. This is probably, if I had to make a guess right now, with our current settings, which I think is actually set to medium because of when we were benchmarking CPUs, 25 FPS. Oh my gosh, look at the lag. Yeah, there's no DLSS, no ray tracing, no reconstruction, none of that. This is just straight up raw horsepower.
You get FSR at least.
Let's go performance. Wow. Okay, so it may not look bad if I wasn't on a 48-inch TV, but ironically, this is now playable. It says question mark above his head. Dude, this is actually playable. Maybe high 1080p? Oh, it looks bad in the menu as it is right now. What if I go quality? Okay, this is ironically super playable. Like, this is perfect if you wanted to play the story, you know what I mean? Now, it may be paired with a 14900K, which is picking up a bit of the load for the CPU loading and stuff. So this is not like a review of like, how would ultra budget gaming go if we had, say, an also era correct CPU? We're talking like, what, 6000 series, like a 6700K, something like that, around that era. So don't take this as me saying this game is super playable with era from 2015, at least not with these settings. I'm just curious as to what the GPU is capable of when the CPU is not holding it back. Oh! Oh, hi. I'll take this. Excuse me. Coming through. Beep, beep. The FPS is not fluctuating. That line is super solid. This is incredible, actually. I chose this game at the start because I figured if there's any game we were not going to be able to play and have a good time with, it was going to be this one. But you know what? The way that I sort of measure this is, am I thinking about what's happening in the game, or am I thinking about how poorly the game is running? And I quickly forgot how poorly the game was running because it's not running poorly. Well. Oh, give me your car. Official crime business. I'm dead. Finally, jeez, I survived for a very long time. And I forgot that I was playing on a 980 Ti. So, can it play Cyberpunk 2077? Yes. And I didn't go in and tweak any sort of settings other than just, I went 1080p, FSR and quality, or no, yeah, I went quality at 1080p. That shows how awesome FSR actually is, because it can't use DLSS because it's too old for DLSS. That is a hardware level. So let's do something now like, I don't know. Let's go F1 24. All right, I'm finally in the game. We're at 76 FPS right here in the garage. Let's do a flying lap. Okay, here we go. Dude, the FPS is actually really good. 167. Not to mention modern GPUs getting like 500, but okay. I think this answers this question about whether or not F1 2024 is playable. Absolutely. In fact, we could probably even crank these settings some more if we want to keep it around 100 FPS plus. Let's go ultra high, sure, why not? Okay, so what if we were to go to 1080p or 1440 then? Okay, 67. Still playable, but a bit more jittery now, like in terms of 70 FPS versus 160. And to be honest, it doesn't look that different to me with the higher res and the higher settings. I'm surprised it's able to take a game for 2024 and actually still do over 60 FPS on a nearly 10-year-old GPU. I guess I'm a little curious as to what my GPU temps sort of maxed out at. So let's see what hardware info was saying right now. So my GPU, it maxed out at 84 and 97, but my averages was 71 and 84 over all those gaming sessions. So not bad at all, actually. All right, there we go. Just a quick video because I was curious. The reason why I bought these was actually, like I said, to play around with 4-way SLI on old titles that would have actually supported it. But I'm a little curious as to how it would run today in a single GPU solution. Like, is it worth spending $75 on a 980 Ti in 2024? And I think the answer is, depending on what you're playing, absolutely, as long as your CPU also isn't a bottleneck. So it is a bit of a mismatched system, like I said, with a 14900K and a 980 Ti. But when the 980 Ti is not being held back by anything and we're 1000% GPU bound at this point, it actually does pretty damn good today. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this small, short, not really that short, but small information video gave you something to consider here. If you're wanting to get into games and such, and you want to play some like PC exclusives or just start messing around with PC stuff, a 980 Ti like this would actually be a pretty decent placeholder to when you can get a more modern GPU that has all the bells and whistles and stuff. I think what really saved it, to be honest, is FSR. FSR existing on old cards like this because of software level, basically, upscaling, allows us to play at a lower res, upscale to a higher res, and it's good enough, I think, to give us a playable experience. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you're running some old school hardware, why don't you comment down below what hardware you're running, what games you play, and what kind of FPS you're getting out of it. Because I think there's this stigma that everyone has to have a 4090. Otherwise, there's no point in getting into PC gaming. Crazy part is, with what this PC costs, or this graphics card costs right here, you could build an entire gaming rig. That's just depressing.